Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome to the start of a new video series. I am going to start playing Frostgrave. I know I've done this a lot. I start and stop, but this time I want to take a wizard from level 1 all the way up to level 20. Now, in the second edition, they don't include, or Joe didn't include the rule about Transcendence. Apparently, that was taken out of here. I didn't really ever think about that, but in the original rulebook, first edition, when a wizard reached, I think, level 20, they could try to transcend the physical world. And you had to roll a d20, and I think you had to roll a natural 20 in order to do it. And I want to try and do that. I want to try to take a wizard all the way up and see how long it takes to do the transcendence. But before I do that, I need to make my wizard. Now, I'm going to be playing this solo. And so when you play a wizard solo, there are certain schools of magic that I think just aren't as good as others. So I am going to go with the Enchanter. I like the Enchanter. I know it. I know it, and I'm also. I just think that it's a good school of magic for a solo game. That's all I'll say. So the school, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let's see. Come here. Where are you? I need to get my pen. All right. So we're going to do, and I'll clean all this up later. This is just for my note taking. I don't have a name for him yet, but the wizard always starts with certain stats, and I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. So it's 6 for move, +2 fight, +0 shoot, 10 armor, +4 will, and 14 health. And I'll go ahead and do the apprentice as well. The apprentice starting is 6 +0 +0, 10 armor, +2 will, and 12 health. The wizard's definitely a little squishy, as is the apprentice in this game. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. All right. So what I have to do with the Enchanter is I have to pick spells. Now, the Enchanter will get 3. You'd think I'd know this by memory by now, but you get a certain number. 3 come from my school, Enchanter. It says 1 spell must come from each of the 3 aligned. And the aligned are Elementalist. Just going to put a 1 next to it. Sigilist. And Witch. Then it says the final 2 can be selected from any of the 5 neutral. Now, my neutral are Illusionist, Necromancer. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a star out beside these to remind me I can only pick 2. Illusionist, Necromancer, Soothsayer, Summoner, and Thaumaturge. So the opposed is the Chronomancer. Right now, I cannot draw any spells from that school. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my spells. But you know what? Before I do that, the items that the wizard begins with, the wizard has 5 slots. So it says max of 5. Soldiers have 1. A starting wizard may choose from the general arms and armor. So interestingly enough, I never really thought about this, that the general armor is something that a wizard could get. I don't know why it says spellcasters may not wear light armor. They may not carry shields. They may not wear heavy armor. That's why. Never mind. I'm thinking Stargrave. There are certain things that in one game you can do in another. So in Frostgrave, that's right. They cannot wear armor. So it's just the general arms and armor tables. So I'm going to obviously choose a dagger in case my wizard ever gets into hand-to-hand. That's a weapon. It says the first dagger does not take up an item slot, so you get it for free. I can choose a hand weapon. I can choose a staff. Now, the hand weapon, there's no real rule about it. It says wizards can change their items if they find a staff. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a hand weapon only because I'd rather have that than a dagger. And the staff, it subtracts off a damage point, but I just don't think it's all that great unless you find a magical one. And let's see, the level of my my wizard will be I guess I've often wondered, do they start at level 0 or level 1? I think they start at level 0. And then when you get your first 100, you go to level 1, things like that. So no XP, no level. Current health is 14. And now I'm going to go pick his spells. Now, I already I've played this game so much that I kind of know which spells I want. So for the enchanter, I like to enchant a weapon. So I'm going to choose that one. Enchant weapon, and it's an 8/10 to cast because it's from my School of Magic. I do like enchant armor, but I also like grenade and telekinesis. Telekinesis is just one of the good ones. I'm going to take telekinesis, which is a 10/12 cast, 12 for the apprentice, 10 for the wizard. And now I got to make the hard decision. I really don't get into the whole animating constructs and controlling constructs. I know some players at Frostgrave who love constructs, and more power to you. It's just not my thing. Embedding an enchantment is nice. You can make the weapon a magical weapon, but it's a 14 to start out with. It's so hard to do it. And when you're a low level wizard, you want some power spells. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take grenade because it can attack any target within 14 inches. So grenade will be 10/12 as well. And what I'm hoping is that I'll find a scroll at some point for embed enchantment or maybe enchant armor. So we'll see. Those are my 3 enchanter spells. Now let's go for the aligned. The first one is the elementalist. And remember, my wizard really needs like spells that are gonna hurt. But all the spells in the elementalist are 12 or higher, with the exception of elemental hammer, elemental shield, and wall. They're 10, but because they are from my aligned school, I still have to add 2, so they become 12. I like wall because it can put up a defense between you and an enemy. But I also like elemental hammer because it does an additional 5 points when a weapon does damage. I think I'm going to take wall. I know I use wall quite a bit, so I'm going to choose wall, and it's going to be a 12/14 for my wizard and apprentice. All right, let's go to sigilist, and then we'll go to witch. So the sigilist is one who draws runes on things, and they do have some pretty cool ones. Absorb knowledge always gives you an extra 40 XP. That could be useful, but it's got a 12 starting, which means I'll have to roll a 14. Looking at the lowest is push, which is an 8. I can make an attack against an enemy and actually shove them back. I love push, so I am going to take push for the sigilist, and it becomes a 10/12. And then finally, the witch. And the witch, this is always a tough one. I don't need fog because I've got wall, and it's a 8 cast, and it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Mud is interesting; it can slow an enemy down. Poison dart is good, but it's going to cost me 12 to cast. Curse is interesting. I have done that one. The target will suffer -2 to all die rolls. At the end of each turn, the target may make a will roll versus the target number to cancel it. Cannot be cast on a figure. This is a tough one. You got to take one. I think I'm going to take. I don't know. Poison dart's a good one, but I already have grenade, which has a range of 14. Poison dart has line of sight, so you can hit further than 14 inches, but it is going to cost me 12, and it's a +3 shooting attack. Well, we'll see. I do like curse though. Curse will, at the end of each turn, the target may make a will roll. I think I'm going to have to take poison dart. I need another offensive spell. So I'm going to take poison dart, which is a 10, which is going to be a 12/14. It's a kind of a last ditch effort. And then finally, I get one spell from either illusionist, necromancer, soothsayer, or summoner. 2 spells, but one from those in thaumaturge. Thaumaturge, I always have trouble with thaumaturge. There's one spell. Which one is it? Heal. Now, the thaumaturge is going to cost me +4, so it's going to become a 12, 14 as well. But heal is a really, really good spell to have in the beginning, and I think I'm going to take it. So it's going to go up to 12/14 to heal. And I get one more. I'm not going to choose Necromancer. I have no desire to deal with skeletons and undead and controlling animals or zombies and stuff. So I can eliminate that one. Soothsayer does have the Wizard Eye, which allows you to cast spells within 12 inches of wherever you cast the Wizard Eye. I'm going to hold on to that one. Let me look at Elementalist. Now that I remember, Elementalist is probably going to be the one I take. Because Elemental Bolt is a +7 magic shooting attack. I have to roll a 16 or higher to use it, though. Because it's normally a 12, and my wizard is +4 for this. Man. Wait a minute. I already chose one. I chose Wall. Never mind. I chose Wall. Oh, no, I am. What am I talking about? I am an Elementalist. I thought I was an Enchanter. Didn't I choose Enchanter? I did. What was it? Hold on. Elementalist. So I already chose Wall from Elementalist. I did. So that leaves me with Illusionist. I was like trying to figure out what I'm doing. Okay, Illusionist, not really. It does have teleport, but it's going to cost a lot. I won't be doing Illusionist, and I won't be doing Necromancer. So that leaves Thaumaturge, which I already selected one. Summoner. Summoner is the other one. Summoner is Leap, and the summon demons, control demons, not really interested. The Leap will cost me 12 if I choose it. It can be cast on a member of your warband, and you immediately move the target up to 10 inches in any directions, including vertical. It's a great spell for getting one of your warband members out of danger or put them near a treasure. It will cost me it will be 12 to cast, and the other one was the other one was Wizard Eye. I think I'm going to skip Wizard Eye, and I'm going to go for Leap. Leap will cost me 12, 14. So all of my spells, the maximum is 12 for the wizard, the minimum is 8 for enchant armor. Didn't I want enchant? No, I wanted enchant weapon. Excuse me. I put it on the wrong one. I want enchant weapon, which let me make sure I did that one right. I think they're the same thing. Enchant weapon is 8. Yeah. So 8/10. All right, that is the spells selected, and now I have to go and buy my warband. Now, what's interesting is you get 400 gold to hire you begin the game with 400. Your apprentice costs 100. If you don't have an apprentice, I've never. I played against one guy who decided not to choose an apprentice early on, and it did come back to bite him. So obviously, I'm gonna take the apprentice, and that leaves me with I started at 400, so now I'm down to 300 with the apprentice. And the warband members you can choose, the soldiers, there are two types: standard and specialist. Standard, you can choose as many as you like, but you can only have a maximum of 4 specialists. So the thugs are free. You could have 8 thugs if you really wanted, but I'm gonna beef my guys up. I love having a ranged soldier type. So the marksman has a crossbow, but what I really prefer is the archer. They're inexpensive to start out with on a low level. They're 75. So for 150, I can get 2x archers. And let's go ahead and fill them in. Let's see. I've got and what I do is I do the top 4 are my standard and the bottom 4 are my specialists. So I have an archer and an archer. And the archer stats are 6 +1 +2, 11 armor, +0 will, and 10 starting health. And they have a bow and a quiver and a dagger and light armor. Okay. 2 of those. Next, I've got 150 gold. I'm going to go ahead and take. Now, I thought about taking 4 thugs, but here's the thing about the apothecary. The apothecary starts with a healing potion, and if you don't use it, you bank it. I had a friend of mine, Robert, who put me onto that little trick. An apothecary does cost 75, but a healing potion costs 50. So it's sort of like you're paying 25 for the apothecary and getting the healing potion. And the apothecary is a little tougher with 12 health than the thug. But that's only going to leave me 75, which the best one I can buy for 70. None of these high ups I can buy after that. I could buy a 3rd archer and an apothecary and the rest thugs, which I think that's probably, I don't know. The archers have a use, but I need someone who can get in there, and I can't afford it. And none of the others I can afford. So I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to do another 75 for another archer. And I'll be changing this up as the game progresses. I don't need this many archers, but this early on, I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to take minus 75 for an apothecary. An apothecary is a basic or a standard. So I will put him up here, an apothecary. And then the rest will be free thugs. And the thugs, I should know them by now. It's 6 plus 2 plus 0, 10 armor, 10 health, and minus 1 will. And they all have a hand weapon. And I have 3 of those. And then I said I was going to get another archer. And then another thug. So what I should do is erase that. All right. So I'll just do an archer down here. I try to keep them separate so I know who's who. And I will erase this and put a thug in there. And that is my warband. All right. That's it. All right. So before I get going, let me explain how I'm going to do my solo game, because I do have some home rules that I do. First, I only put out 2 treasure tokens on the map, and they're always at least at the halfway point or further. Like if the game board is 3x3, 36 inches, they can't be in front. What I do is I pick a point in the middle of it and I roll some random dice, and it's got to be behind that line, a random direction in behind it. But 2 treasure tokens. What else? Oh yes, wandering creatures. All right, there's 2 things for wandering creatures. The normal rule is at the end of a round you roll a d10, and on a 10 or higher, the rule is if you pick up a treasure token, you roll a d10, and on a 10 or higher, a wandering creature appears. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make it automatic. If you pick up a treasure, a wandering creature appears. So the treasure triggers a wandering creature. Also, every what did I say? I didn't say every other. It was every third. Every third round. At the end of round 1, nothing. At the end of round 2, nothing. At the end of round 3, a guaranteed wandering monster. This will keep things on the board. Keep it interesting. And then finally, at the start of the game, the first round, I will roll for. I was pondering this the other day. I was trying to debate whether I do 2 or 3 wandering creatures. I think I'm going to go with 2. There will be 2 wandering creatures rolls that start out on the map. They will always start at one of the 3 corners on which I don't start. So I'll roll that randomly. And then the last one is the wandering monster table. Let me show you that. So on page 177, there are 3 columns here. And you roll, when there's a random encounter, you roll a d20 for the column, and then you roll a d20 for the row, and it tells you what you're going to get. I'm going to divide this into 3 levels. So think up to level 20. Between level 1 and 7, I will roll on this column. Between 8 and 14, I'll roll on this column, and 15 and 20, or whatever the number is, I'll roll on this. And the reason for that is, as you move further right, the creatures get more deadly. So for a first level wizard to roll on this, it's bad. I want the game to be fun for me. I want it to tell a story. I want to actually be able to sort of maybe survive. I can run away, which I will do probably, but I don't need a werewolf or a vampire appearing early in the game, right? As my wizard gets more powerful, the idea is that he's going deeper into the city or into more dangerous parts of the city that have been labeled super dangerous. But as he gets more powerful, maybe he's willing to go into those parts of the city where he will encounter the more deadly creatures. So that just gives me a little bit of extra insurance that, hey, I'm not going to be going up against anything too crazy for my earlier levels. Now, if I find that the game is just too easy, I'll change that and I'll let you know. And maybe I'll just start rolling on the second column no matter what. All right, there you go. The other thing I'm going to do is as my hero advances or my wizard advances, I'll update the character sheet and I'll probably post an updated character sheet at the end of each, not at the end of each video, but at the end of each scenario that I play, because some scenarios are going to spread out over multiple videos, because they can go an hour and a half long sometimes, and I'm not going to be doing hour and a half videos, uploading those kinds of videos. So there you go. I cannot wait. I've got a bunch of new terrain to share with you. I've got some new custom scenarios that I've designed, some new fun things to play with for Frostgrave. We're gonna really have some fun with this, so I hope you will join me. Now, as a reminder, my patrons will always get access to the videos a week earlier than anybody else. That will start not with this video, but the next video. My patrons will get it a little bit earlier, and then you'll get it a week later. If you want to become a patron, the information's in the video description, but it's really just $2 a month, and you're going to get access to not just the early videos, but I'm going to be doing some other stuff. For Frostgrave, I'm going to be doing some behind-the-scenes little videos. They won't be appended to the main video. They'll just be separate videos. I'll probably do some videos just showing you some of my new terrain. Maybe I'll post some terrain getting painted, that kind of thing. But there'll be some bonus material for my patrons. All right, that's all I got. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me. I cannot wait to start my new campaign of Frostgrave, 2nd edition, and I will be back very soon with the first video, the first scenario. I hope you join me then. Until then, everybody, take care.
Check out the new RPG and Wargame newsletter. Each week, the Tabletop Engineer shares news, products, Kickstarters, and much more related to the gaming hobby. It's free to subscribe, so check out the link in the video description below to sign up.